Okay, everyone. The season 8 of the NAOL League is on right now, and the first round has already finished. Here's our here's the email, and here is our time slot. Okay, let's go take a look. Okay. Jerry from UCSD and Riannie, DUAN. Welcome. Okay, so this is the first game. Let's take a look. Okay. Looks pretty good, pretty standard. And so now White is playing this is a very old Joseki. This is pre-AI, and it involves something like this, which is fine. Totally fine totally fine so far for both sides. Okay, in this opening as White, I would feel very good to have gotten this last corner, which is good. So in other words, good for White. Okay. Okay, this seems a bit early, but there's not that much good and big stuff to do right now, so it seems okay. Okay, Black blocks. So this means that White has gotten this move in Sente, which is good. This is a very, very good move. So the theme for today is to add a lot of pressure to the opponents, and this is a move that does exactly this. So next we're threatening to play Q18. Makes sense. And Black plays a very, very defensive move here. Almost for sure this is going to be this is not this is going to be not very good for Black. Black is playing very, very defensively. Okay, and so faced with a defensive move by Black, White tanukis and plays a big move. Okay, makes perfect sense. Black invades. This also makes sense from Black's perspective. He just defended once in Gote, and without some major payoff, it's not. It's gonna be. He's gonna fall far and further behind. So this invasion is a must-play move. Okay. These are very reasonable defensive plays. Defensive on White's part, but this all makes perfect sense, and White tanukis to destroy the big Moyo on the left side. This feels pretty good. Okay, so so the theme of today is to add a little bit of pressure to your opponents, and so the goal is accomplish exactly the same amount of stuff while we add a little bit of pressure to the opponent. So White has been doing this pretty well. On Black's part, this last part was pretty good, but the part before with Q18, it was a little bit too defensive. Okay. Yeah, this is very, very good. A very good job by White here. If Black wants to continue attacking, almost for sure Black has to cut on the top, and White is not very worried about this. The corner is totally alive now. So this is a very good move by Black here. Black runs into this this problem, which is indeed a big problem. So White plays here, which sidesteps that last issue. And here you can see Black got the same result as our diagram, except with a good exchange made. Still, overall, Black is doing the best he can, but White is also doing totally fine, having gotten Sente here. So next, White played here. Not bad, but in the spirit of today, this move is a purely defensive move. It does not add any pressure against Black's shapes. So how to add some pressure while accomplishing about the same thing? One, we can suggest making this peep. Secondly, you know, maybe play on the outside a little bit faster, maybe come over here, sort of engulfing this black black group, or go out a little bit further. All this puts a little bit more pressure on black in terms of, you know, white is rapidly taking over the board instead of a relatively slow move, which you know, is totally fine by itself. Okay. So black invades here. Generally, the invasion is on the third line. When black invades on the fourth line and white is able to connect underneath, it's generally considered not a good exchange by black. However, I myself have played one of these fourth line exchange invasions too, so should be okay. So white chose a very offensive attach. This is good. And the next move of this Atari and cut is very, very strong, and you can imagine some exchange like this happening. This should also be good for white. In the game, white honeyed, also probably okay. I don't see any real threats other than black connecting and then leaving white having to defend in Gote. So in the game, black played here, and this is a very good peep. This is exactly the kind of move that we want to be discussing today. And so white is playing this. It's a peep. It is also connecting underneath and making territory. It is also making black very, very heavy. So this is exactly the pressureful, you know, pressure-rich move that we're looking for. Very good job. Okay. Okay. The double honey just as well here. If you just extend, that would be not as much pressure against the outside black. Okay. Okay. So for here, black missed this Atari in Sente, and then black can Atari again and maybe give up the one stone and play like this. In the game, because black didn't exchange this Atari, he may not be able to do that in the future. White Ataris, especially right now. Now, when black Ataris, white is happily giving up the one stone and then taking the stone on the outside. So, not exchanging this Atari proved to be a very bad development for black. Again, more pressure against the opponent would have, you know, would have been better. And in this case, because black connected first, this one stone became very, very small. Because this one stone is not a key stone for white's connections, and so so black missed a major key move here. Now I myself have also made a not Atariing first, also proved to be a huge mistake in one of my games recently as well. So I dearly feel this kind of a mistake. So for white, don't save that one stone. Allow black to cut in Gote, and then play on the outside would be much stronger. In the game, white played the connect back anyways, and so what we have just discussed, white not having to play this connect, was being played. So it all came back full circle. So now for black, for sure you want to be making this Atari sort of broadly connecting instead of just capturing this one stone. Moreover, because white's press out is Sente as well, this significantly reduces the potential territory for black on the outside. Now black is just a small group in the middle and a group on the corner, whereas before when we make this Atari, it's like a whole connected group. Okay, white plays here. Okay, that's a very reasonable move. White is breaking into the middle, into black's potential territory. The theme of today is to put a little more pressure on your opponent while accomplishing the same tasks. So this move, while it does move into the middle, because black's group here is relatively strong, it's not putting that much pressure on this black group. This frees up black's resources to start attacking the left-hand side, something like this. If black makes a couple of peeps and a couple of exchanges on the bottom, you can sort of start to see that white is slowly getting surrounded. So instead of this move, maybe you know, if we can do the same kind of peeps here, maybe at the same time as moving into the middle, sort of relieving the pressure on this white group at the same time. Maybe that would be better. At the end of the day, we are, as white, we are definitely not afraid of something like 6, 7, 8, where black is surrounding some territory here. That is not good for black, that it is good for white. So same thing for black here, because this area is relatively strong for black, and there's no chance for black to cut this one white stone off in the middle. It makes much more sense to start attacking the, you know, put your stones where, put your moves where your opponents are threatened. So something like start attacking on the left-hand side is a much stronger play. So this move is a little bit too far from the location that you actually want to play, and so JerryUCSD here is gonna find this move to be gote, and the white is gonna get the first chance to fix on the left-hand side. So in the game, this attachment is made. So a big fight has happened in the middle. As white here, my initial instinct is to try to make black play more moves in this middle area. And so if we could exchange something like this one, you know, the more exchanges, the better. Black is not going to surround much territory while white is settling this group. Something like this one, all very good ideas. So that's what I would be looking for. In the game, white decides to go for the frontal fight, the face-to-face engagement. Also a very strong play. However, we run into the risk of black playing this kind of a move on the outside and having white cram a few stones in the middle here. And the black's moves on the outside, you know, working towards surrounding white on the left-hand side. And so this is what we would be worried about as white in terms of starting a big complicated fight in the middle here. So in the game, black extends here. This does allow white to sort of come back to the most important area, which is taking care of the left-hand side group. And this one, so this thought all turned out very good for white. White in the exchanges, during the exchanges in the middle, white was able to make at least 3 moves in the middle here, including one more to Atari, and this gives white some ice space. So white has gained the most valuable thing in this board right now, which is safety of the group on the left-hand side. And these two, again, in the right direction. These 5 stones are doing very much to help white's group settle. And the black's moves in the middle, you can see that is making a couple of points here, but that's all that black made. And if we took a look back here, black clearly had a lot more stones or a lot more resources in this middle fighting area than white did. So the result of the fighting, black securing 7-8 points in the middle here, is definitely not satisfactory. Just the amount of resources that black had to begin the fight seems like seemed like an overwhelmingly large amount, and then the gain above and beyond what white gained feels a little bit anemic. Okay, so we transition into the end game now, and here what the territory and the right hand side that white had built up earlier in the game is really showing through. So now black, having attacked the middle and only surrounded a little bit, is going to face a very big territory crunch, or black is going to not have enough points in the game. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 points for black, maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 points for white. So the estimate is still relatively close, but black is for sure a little bit or significantly behind at this point. And here white is able to gain another 3 stones. Okay, and black goes for the capture of this big white group here. A very good attempt. However, the weaknesses with black's own group here, along with the ice space for white here, is gonna make it almost impossible to capture white. Okay, and instead, and even and in addition to not being able to capture white, black, Jerry is unable to save this middle group as well. So this ended the game. Overall, black, in the middle fight here, black was unable to control or find the important direction of play, the sort of line of play that would put maximum pressure against white's left-hand side group, and instead black surrounded a center couple of points on the center here, or only surrounded a couple of points there, and allowed white to settle the middle, which this solved white's overall problems, and feeling the pinch of not having enough territory, black went for this capture and then failed, and also died himself. So very reasonable game, very logical, logically sound game from both sides, and we can clearly see where white gained the upper hand, and then this game had a very nice and logical flow to it, and it's sort of a very complete, very the moves sort of follow one another very well. So a very good game, well played by white, and black also did fairly well. Most of the moves were very reasonable, and the shapes were generally sound. So very good. The next game is Dash versus Zhang Xiaodong, Alan. I know a very strong player named Alan. I hope this Alan grows up to be similar to that Alan. Dash is someone I met during my pro qualifiers, so good luck to Dash as well. Okay, so this game Dash is black. This is very popular opening right now, this one space jump along with this attach by white. Okay, black plays it simple for now. I see what this is. This is a Joseki to avoid a very complicated Joseki involved with this. This is a complicated line, and I myself have tried this many times. However, I have never had I have never gained from playing this variation. So I do sympathize with White for not trying to choose this. However, one Joseki goes like this, and here's a technique for us to use in Go, a very useful technique. So this is a Joseki, this is an even Joseki, and then White plays here, and this one is clearly a bad exchange by White. So from a very fair even Joseki, add one bad exchange by White means that this Joseki is going to be, this overall result is going to be bad for White. And so in the game, White plays this one first and then plays here. And exactly the same shape has happened. This technique is very useful for all of us to analyze a complicated shape and to see who has the upper hand. You take away a few stones, and then you take it away so that it's an even Joseki that you already do know, and then you add the exchanges back and see if the exchanges are helpful or not helpful. Okay, so in Chinese this was called 手格. I don't think there's a term for it in English. There is definitely a Japanese term for it. The term is, you take away exchanges and until it's an even shape that you do know very well, and you see if you gained or did not gain, if you gained or lost with those exchanged moves. So a very common example is, this is a very good example. So even Joseki, and then White makes a bad exchange. So now we can tell that White is losing out over here in this Joseki. Okay. Okay. This one, this extend is a Sente move, and it's a clear do for Black. So the theme of today is to put more pressure on the opponent, and so this exchange is definitely one that does. And also, of course, this move is protecting yourself as well. A similar move is here, extending here, and then strengthening yourself while threatening the opponent. Okay. So White plays this one. It's for sure to be Sente against the corner, so a very good move by White here. And then White also plays here to block on the left-hand side. This is White made a few Tanuki exchanges, and here I'm not sure if Black is gonna be able to live in the corner. White's strongest play is probably just blocking here. What I can see is a ko in the corner, but this obviously is going to be much worse than a regular 3-3-3-3 invasion Joseki. So given this, Black probably wants to avoid exchanging too much on the outside and then damaging the corner as a result. So maybe Black Tanukis now, or just extends and tries to get Sente on the outside. Okay. Here's another example of that technique in use. These last few exchanges must be pretty even, or at least it's not bad for White. These exchanges, at least it's not bad for White. And then now this corner, White is going to get a much better result than a regular Joseki, which means White is for sure to have gained in this area, much like Black likely gained a little bit in that Joseki earlier. So here, a very common life and death shape, block is very, very strong. If you wanted to go for the capture, highly recommend something like extend instead of the hane, and then something like this second line move where you're really going for the capture. Now this move comes with a lot of risks as the outside white group is not very strong, so maybe you just want to block. And the key is if you can double hane and keep blocking without any worries, the block and then another block would be very, very strong. Okay, so in the game, white kind of gave black a little bit of a breathing room, and then black is able to survive here. So good for black here. White was supposed to be able to get something that's much better than the regular Sansan Joseki, and then in the actual game, white probably got slightly better than the average Joseki. So we'll give this a slightly a slight favor to white here. This capture is Sente. The next move is here, and this is another very common life and death shape. Something to know, something to see a couple of times, and then no. So then this way, white can be maximally strong. In the game, white is taking some territory, which is also good. But for now, the next move, extending here, would be very important, or maybe turning here, or this knight's move. In all these cases, white is further strengthening the left-hand side so that capturing the stone here is not that important. And next, white is also looking to attack black in the middle here. So maximum pressure can be achieved by white surrounding some territory on the left, and then also aiming to attack black in the middle. This move would be fine if it's Sente. Is it Sente though? For one thing, white plays here, here, here. This looks like black does not have enough space to live. So that's good. That's a good mark for this being Sente. However, if black is able to play this hane in Sente and then play this, now this looks like an alive shape. This one, this one, this one, this one, and well, some simple stuff will make black alive. So now this does not look like this block is Sente. So here, let's see if black responded. Black did not respond. So white may pay for this lack of care in terms of life and death problems. However, there's another potential capture for white, which is this hane, which could work. This does not look like enough space. So did black misstep by not exchanging this hane early enough? Okay, for now the fight has come to the left-hand side, and this Atari, another Atari that must be played as soon as possible. Just imagine the next couple of moves like this. White may have trouble just finding enough spaces for two eyes. So white may not even be able to make this second line crawling move. White may have to play on the inside, and then you can clearly block in Sente. If you're in a sinister mood, we play this and then block in Sente, and this is a very, very strong play by black here. And so this is a major misstep by black. However, black was gaining a lot earlier, so overall in this fight, black is still gaining, just not as much as he could have. Okay. Okay, white plays here, Okay, here again, this because white cannot surround an eye with that capture of that one stone, this would actually put white into a dead shape, and this move is very strong. Whenever you guys can make a move and make your opponent play a basically useless move, and useless moves, there's a very common shortcut to identifying them. Useless moves generally are blobby type of a move, and in this case, it's a blob. Whenever you can, so this is whenever you can blob your opponent up, you almost always want to do it, and if you don't do it, you better have a very good reason to not do it. So generally, this is you can close your eyes and blob your opponent up without worry, and very often you will find that you can have very strong follow-up moves. In this case, you can just straight up capture this white group. Okay. Yeah, so in the game black blocked, which is still Sente, white needs to live on the inside, and white chose to live large, which is gonna open white up to the exact same tactic we saw earlier. So a failed defense by white needed to really protect the weakness there. So white is really paying for this a little bit less. For having a little bit less skill or experience in these life and death situations. So first, white was unable to capture the black corner. Next, black captured white's side, and then third, black's corner on the lower right, may still survive due to white, not having the experience to know how to capture it. Okay, in this game, however, so this local shape clearly very good for black. However, upon white playing here, white can threaten to connect the dead group. So here white is really using this dead group very well. And black plays on the outside here, which gives white the opportunity to save this group. Because of how strong black was on the outside, that outside pressing move did not need to be played. You can just imagine black you can keep extending back. You can block as well. Because black was so strong here, there was no need to play this move. So this is the so we clearly see why it's advisable to not blob yourself up, right? Like here, because when you have a blob, your stones are not that important, are not that efficient, and so here, so it's very clear that you don't want to play, similar to white here, where you make a very inefficient large number of moves. This black move here is a different kind. It's the same exact idea. Your stones are not performing up to their maximum efficiency or high efficiency or acceptable efficiency. It's just that it doesn't look like a blob, but at the base level, it is the same thing. You have played a move here that you have gained very little with, and that the move could safely be that you could still be safe without that move. So be careful of the invisible blob and the visible blob, of course. Here's a very good example of the invisible blob at work. Okay, so in the game, white connects here, and now white is able to connect back home. So white has managed to survive after all with this zombie group which came back to life. However, white has more problems This again, this corner, this upper left corner is a dead shape. Again, white is maybe paying a little bit with the lack of knowledge, life and death shapes knowledge. Okay, more complicated fighting occurred on the upper side. However, at this point, the game ended. I imagine white played the last move, so maybe white didn't resign, but clearly white is losing very badly in this game. So I hope the game ended in black's favor, or clearly it makes, if black ran out of time or something, then it's unfortunate, but black has played a better game than white. However, there is one thing to point out with black's play in this game, which is black was able to gain some lead with very strong life and death reading. However, when the fighting came to this kind of area on the right hand side, black is giving up. Black gave up 2 stones very, very easily, and here the exchange of the endgame was made very, very fast. However, right now black has a lot of agi with the 2 white stones. Just imagine if there is a state of the world where black takes these stones out, and then black can play a very strong blocking move where white is being split. After we have played this endgame so fast, there's no way to cut white here anymore. So this is black really, giving up a lot of value very, very easily. And of course, you never want to give up value to your opponent very, very easily. So that's one thing. And the second part that I saw a similar type of a move happen is here. When white plays here, black just defends, and then just defends. Here there's no need to defend so defensively. So along the same veins, you would expect black to play this kind of a connection, but then here black counterattacks, and so clearly black is does know how to counterattack, and here black also responded. A stronger move would be to not respond to this. Okay, and then in the end, I hope the resignation is what happened instead of a timeout. Never like to see any timeouts. So yeah, that's true. Seems like white resigned in the end. Okay, so after that we have come to the third game. So this one is a 3Q versus a 1Q on OGS. So remember 2 themes of today. One, when you guys make moves that you're doing what you have to do, protecting yourself, whatever you have to do, try to add a piece of concern or worry or threat against your opponent. This way you can, of course, put more pressure on your opponent. So whenever you play anything, just try to add a little bit of threat against your opponent. And then in the second game, we saw that trying to blob your opponents up is almost always good, and it's also very good to avoid over concentrating yourself as well, which is blobbing yourself up. And when we saw some clear blobs, and then there are some not so clear blobs, the invisible blob, as I like to call. So here, black is not being blobbed up. This is a very super cut up situation. Good. So neither side is blobbing up, which is good. Here it's very important for black to play the following well, it's very important for white to play the following moves in the specific order. Two orders. One is to Atari first and then play here to capture 2 stones. Second is to play the block first and then to capture these 2 stones. Both of these would be very, very strong plays, and white would have secured a victory in this fight. So it's very important for black to avoid that situation. One thing I can think of is to Atari and then block, threatening the outside stones, and then also threatening to capture the inside stones. So that would be very strong. Another strong play is to cut first on the inside. Of course, a cut prevents any ladders from happening against black's 2 stones. And then about the same thing, you can Atari and connect back and then look to threaten both sides or something else. Okay, so it's very important for black to not allow white to capture either of those two stone groups. Okay, in the game, white missed a huge opportunity here. We had shown before. Both of these would be very strong. If you wanted me to pick one, I would pick this one. Okay, so now black is able to fix the weaknesses, and black clearly has a good result here. Again, if you guys are not sure of how to evaluate if something is good or bad for black, you start out with some kind of a common shape. You begin to take away your exchanged stones. So in this case, these two can be taken away, and you can clearly see that black is forced white into a very small corner, which is much better than any Sansan invasion Josekis. So black clearly gains in that Joseki, and then these 2 exchanges seems like they did, at least these are not to the detriment of black. Of course, white cannot run away like this. So if black spends a move to capture the 2 white stones, this will be a very good result for black, and we can safely conclude this. Okay, so in the game, black tanuki'd, okay, and then white got the first move here. So at least white, didn't get captured on the outside, and so this, at least white is able to continue fighting, and then maybe continue fighting in this area. And now it is for sure not at all clear that black has gained any advantages here. Okay, good fighting techniques here. Here white makes a big shape mistake, and here the blob up is a very strong continuation. If anything, black can just play some exchanges like this. First play here, and then we can play this or this, and you can see that black has achieved the blob up. Okay, so here's a big opportunity for black, and here's some moves that white has missed. Okay, so this is a very good move by black too. You're pressuring the 4 white stones while you are making territory yourself. This is a very good move. Okay, and now because black had so many strong positions here, black should and can seriously consider playing here to cut this white group off and then fighting like this, where black is capturing white and instead of protecting this little bit of territory. So something like this would be very strong by black. Okay, so in the game, black protects the territory, and here's a very quick note. You want to protect your territories to the point where your stones are strong enough. As soon as you become strong enough in your territory, you don't want to add any more moves to that. Again, this is a kind of invisible blob up, or the invisible inefficiency that we just talked about. Okay. This move will just not work due to this ladder. Yeah, so white makes a big mistake, misread here. This will also work for black. Yep. Yeah, there's no real good way for white to answer. Okay, yeah, so overall here black has defended in spades and very successfully, captured more territory while defending this group. So success for black. And here it's another important thing to point out. Now black doesn't have this Atari anymore, so that if you wanted to get this, perhaps with the help of to help you blob white up later, you wanted to have Atari here much earlier, because now white has 3 liberties here, because white is not connecting 3 stones. Okay. So more reasonable moves have been played, and facing a 1Q, Andy as a 3Q is displaying remarkably good and sound technique. So very good job. Okay, and here white oversteps a little bit. This is a classic. Black is making tremendous amount of thickness here, and then when you face some thickness and you play around it, it is very, very dangerous. In the game, black cuts white, and this there's no continuation after this. White is just gonna be very, very bad. So this game, very, very good job by black. I would have recommended black to Atari here and capture the 2 stones. Would be very strong. After this, I think white, first white playing here would be superior, and this would give white a much more liberties shape, where black's move here would not be sente. So a little bit of a habit thing. But other than this one move, I really don't see anything later that was very much that was very problematic from black's side. Maybe here was an opportunity to play here. If only you want to just still defend your territory and then force white to connect this way, because in the game white was most likely gonna play here, which puts a little more pressure on black's corner there. And this is a good example of white having an opportunity to increase efficiency for white. In the game, white played here just connecting, but instead white could have played a more forceful move against black with another honeybee sente later. So yeah, guys, try to add a little bit more threat or annoyance, or generally just one more thing for your opponent to deal with and to think about and be afraid of. Try to add a little bit of this to your game and to every one of your moves, especially when you're playing defensive moves that fix anything. Try to add a little bit of pressure against your opponent, and it will be very, very good. And another thing is, in this kind of exchange Ataris where you can blob your opponent up. Try to do it early, try to do it while it's Sente, because just imagine if black Ataris now, it is not going to be answered. And so best to do it, to not miss these, and when you have the chance, do it. If anything, you can play this this 05 move in Sente, which would help out your group on the bottom. So more offensively, of course, you can start more blobbing up right away, and less offensively, you can always just play this one for your defense. So in the game, that resource went away, so something like a peep here and a push and cut became a real problem for black, because we can't we can Atari here, but white isn't gonna answer there. So you imagine white making this kind of a cut, and then you Atari, white doesn't answer, white can at least attack the outside. So that's a worry. So imagine if white was able to make a few exchanges like this, a few exchanges like this, another one like that, and then here white comes in for this. You're like, what are you doing, white? I can capture this, no problem. And then after white plays these moves, you're thinking, oh, I see what white is doing, making a huge center. Anyways, so I myself recently played a game where an Atari like this was Sente, was almost always Sente, except when I needed to play it. So I am a big, I suffer much from this type of problem just as well. So hope you guys enjoyed very high quality games that we saw this week. Just remember, blob your opponent up and avoid blobbing up yourself. Avoid both the both the clear blob up and also the invisible blob ups, and then you can increase efficiency of your moves by a lot. Alright, thanks for watching. Enjoy the next rounds as well. Okay, see you guys.